You know, our brains are remarkable. They're not just recording devices of our past, they're maps to our future. Everything you think, feel, and do wires your brain in specific ways. This means your thoughts aren't just fleeting ideas. They're shaping the physical structure of your brain and influencing your body's responses. Let me explain how this works. When you have a thought, your brain releases chemicals that match the emotion associated with that thought. If you constantly think negative or stressful thoughts, your brain and body become addicted to that chemical rush. This is why some people find themselves stuck in cycles of anxiety, fear, or anger. Now imagine the opposite scenario. What if you could train your brain to focus on positive thoughts and emotions? When you consciously choose thoughts of gratitude, love, or empowerment, you're rewiring your brain to support those feelings. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a scientifically proven process called neuroplasticity. Studies have shown that mental rehearsal, where you vividly imagine yourself performing an action, activates the same brain regions as actually doing the action. Whether it's playing the piano or working out, your brain doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences when you're fully immersed in them. This is crucial because it means you can mentally rehearse the future you desire. By visualizing yourself achieving your goals and embodying the emotions associated with success, you're priming your brain and body to manifest that reality. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts what they desire. Meditation holds a profound place in shaping your life positively. When you engage in meditation, you embark on a journey to quiet the constant chatter of your mind and delve into a state of deep awareness. This isn't just about sitting quietly. It's a powerful practice that allows you to gain mastery over your thoughts and emotions. In the midst of our daily lives, our minds are often filled with a multitude of thoughts, worries, plans, memories, and more. These thoughts can sometimes overwhelm us, clouding our clarity and affecting how we perceive the world around us. Meditation provides a sanctuary from this mental noise. As you sit in stillness, focusing on your breath or a mantra, you gradually quiet these distractions. The process of quieting the mind during meditation is akin to calming turbulent waters. Initially, there might be ripples and waves of thoughts, but as you continue to meditate, these disturbances settle. This calmness allows you to enter a state of heightened awareness, where you become more attuned to the present moment and less distracted by past regrets or future anxieties. In this heightened state of awareness, you gain the ability to direct your thoughts and emotions more intentionally. Imagine your mind as a garden. Meditation is like tending to this garden, pulling out weeds of negative thinking and planting seeds of positivity and intention. You become more conscious of the thoughts you entertain and the emotions you cultivate within yourself. Through regular meditation practice, you align your internal state, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with your desired external reality. This alignment is crucial because it influences how you perceive and interact with the world. When your inner world is in harmony, you're better equipped to navigate challenges, make decisions aligned with your values, and attract positive experiences into your life. One of the profound benefits of meditation is its impact on emotional regulation. As you practice meditation, you develop greater emotional resilience. This means you're less likely to be swept away by intense emotions like anger, fear, or sadness. Instead, you cultivate a sense of calmness and equanimity that allows you to respond to situations with clarity and composure. Moreover, meditation enhances your ability to focus and concentrate. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions abound, this skill is invaluable. By training your mind to stay present during meditation, you strengthen your concentration muscles. This focused attention spills over into other areas of your life, improving productivity, creativity, and overall cognitive function. Another significant aspect of meditation is its impact on stress reduction. Stress is a common feature of modern life and can have detrimental effects on both mental and physical health. When you meditate, you activate the body's relaxation response, which counteracts the stress response. This leads to lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and promotes a sense of inner peace and well-being. Imagine your thoughts as tiny seeds that you sow in the rich soil of your mind. Each thought has the potential to take root and grow into something substantial. Just like seeds need water and sunlight to flourish, your thoughts need nurturing through focused attention and positive emotions to thrive. This process transforms them into beliefs, powerful convictions that influence how you see the world and what you think you can achieve. The analogy of planting seeds in a garden helps us understand how thoughts develop into beliefs. When you plant a seed, you don't see immediate results. It requires patience and consistent care. Similarly, when you first entertain a thought, it might seem insignificant. However, as you pay more attention to it and attach positive emotions like hope, enthusiasm, or gratitude, that thought begins to take root in your consciousness. Consistency is key. Just as a seed needs regular watering to grow, your thoughts need continual reinforcement. When you consistently focus your attention on positive thoughts and emotions, you strengthen the neural pathways in your brain associated with those thoughts. These pathways become more efficient, making it easier for similar thoughts to arise in the future. As your thoughts evolve into beliefs, they profoundly impact your perception of reality. Beliefs act like filters through which you interpret events and circumstances. If you believe in your abilities and see challenges as opportunities for growth, you approach life with optimism and resilience. Conversely, if you harbor beliefs of self-doubt or negativity, you may perceive challenges as insurmountable obstacles. Now let's talk about breaking free from the past. Many of us are conditioned by our past experiences and emotions. If you constantly dwell on past hurts or failures, you're reinforcing neural pathways that keep you stuck in those patterns. It's like driving forward while looking in the rearview mirror. You're bound to crash. Creating a new future requires a willingness to break free from the chains of the past. It's about taking steps to forgive yourself and others, letting go of old grudges, and reshaping how you view past events. When you can alter the story of your past, you also change its influence on your present and future. Let's delve into why this process of releasing the past is so important. Our lives are often shaped by experiences we've had, both positive and negative. These experiences create stories in our minds, stories that can either empower us or hold us back. When we hold on to resentment, anger, or guilt from past events, we allow these emotions to dictate our present emotions and actions. Forgiving yourself and others is a powerful way to release these negative emotions. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning hurtful actions. Instead, it's a choice to let go of the emotional burden that those actions have placed on you. By forgiving, you reclaim your own emotional well-being and open yourself up to healing and growth. Releasing old grudges is another essential step in freeing yourself from the past. Holding on to resentment towards someone else is like carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders. It drains your energy and keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity. When you choose to release grudges, you lighten your emotional load and create space for more positive experiences and relationships in your life. Moreover, reframing how you perceive past events can be transformative. Often we interpret past experiences through a lens of victimhood or defeat. This interpretation colors our present reality and limits our potential for the future. By consciously reframing these experiences, you gain a new perspective, one that empowers you and focuses on the lessons learned, strengths gained, and opportunities for growth. Changing the narrative of your past doesn't mean denying or invalidating your feelings about what happened. It's about shifting from a mindset of victimization to one of resilience and empowerment. For example, instead of viewing a past failure as a sign of personal inadequacy, you can see it as a valuable learning experience that has equipped you with valuable insights and skills. When you change the narrative of your past, you also change its impact on your present moment. You no longer allow past traumas or setbacks to define your identity or dictate your choices. Instead, you take ownership of your story and use it as a springboard for personal growth and transformation. This process isn't always easy. It requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable emotions. However, the rewards are profound. By releasing the grip of the past, you create space for new beginnings, fresh perspectives, and greater fulfillment in your life. Imagine your life as a canvas. The past is like paint that is dried on the canvas, creating fixed images and patterns. When you forgive, release, and reframe, it's like adding new colors and shapes to the canvas. You create a more vibrant and dynamic picture, one that reflects your resilience, wisdom, and capacity for growth. Practicing forgiveness, letting go of grudges, and reframing past events are ongoing processes. They require patience and self-compassion as you navigate through layers of emotions and beliefs. It's about honoring your journey and embracing the power you have to shape your own narrative. Here's the beauty of it all. No matter where you come from or what your current circumstances are, you have the power to change. I've witnessed countless individuals from all walks of life heal from serious health conditions, transform their relationships, and achieve their dreams simply by changing their thoughts. It starts with awareness. Become aware of your thoughts throughout the day. Are they empowering or limiting? Are they aligned with the future you want to create? Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This awareness gives you the power to consciously choose how you want to think and feel. When you make a conscious effort to steer your thoughts towards positivity and abundance, something remarkable happens within your brain. Imagine your brain as a complex network of pathways, like roads connecting different parts of a city. Each thought you have is like a car traveling down these roads, creating patterns of activity. When you consistently focus on positive thoughts like gratitude, hope, and optimism, you start to activate specific neural circuits in your brain. These circuits are responsible for processing emotions, decision-making, and overall well-being. Think of them as pathways that light up and strengthen with each positive thought. As these neural circuits become more active, they form new connections and pathways in your brain. This process is known as neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. So, when you repeatedly direct your thoughts towards positivity and abundance, you're literally rewiring your brain. These new pathways in your brain act as the foundation for a new reality. Instead of dwelling on limitations or negative outcomes, your brain becomes more attuned to possibilities and opportunities. You start to see the world through a different lens, one that is focused on growth, resilience, and authenticity. Living authentically means being true to yourself and aligning your actions with your values and desires. When your thoughts are aligned with positivity and abundance, you naturally begin to make choices that support your well-being and happiness. You may find yourself more inclined to take proactive steps towards your goals, engage in healthier habits, and cultivate meaningful relationships. Moreover, the effects of positive thinking extend beyond your brain. They influence your body's response as well. When you think positively, your brain releases chemicals that contribute to feelings of happiness and reduce stress. This physiological response not only enhances your mood, but also supports your overall health. Furthermore, positive thinking fosters a mindset of possibility and resilience. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you view them as opportunities for growth and learning. This shift in perspective empowers you to navigate challenges with a sense of optimism and determination. Creating a new reality through positive thinking is not about ignoring difficulties or denying reality. It's about consciously choosing how you interpret and respond to situations. It's recognizing that while you may not always have control over external events, you have the power to control your thoughts and attitudes towards them. Practicing gratitude is one powerful way to cultivate positive thinking. By acknowledging and appreciating the good things in your life, no matter how small, you train your brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. This mindset shift can have profound effects on your emotional well-being and relationships. So take a moment to set your intentions. Visualize yourself succeeding, feeling joyful, and experiencing abundance. Embody the emotions associated with your desires as if they're already here. This isn't just a mental exercise. It's a powerful technique to shape your reality. So I think that when you get to those greater levels of love and you've moved past victimization or importance or control or need to be in power or whatever it is, that when you're at a different consciousness and it's selfless, you get a selfless reflection. And that selfless reflection is going to be a consciousness that doesn't necessarily live in three-dimensional reality. Because once energy makes it here, you're no longer bound to the three-dimensional reality. You're connected to a field. So vibrational match, all of a sudden your energy's at that point, and there's a door. And now you're going to get somebody who's going to, in your state of emotional freedom, in your state of your bliss or ecstasy or whatever it is, there's a perfect opportunity for a being that's vibrating at a similar frequency to begin to influence a person's future. But by the same means, if you can't get to that point and you're stuck, well, then there are beings that love to feed off emotions and feed off energy. And I've seen those too, because when a person finally gets beyond their suffering or whatever, they no longer can host on that person because they're no longer that emotion, that energy any longer. So then all of a sudden the person experiences a tremendous amount of freedom as well. And yeah, of course, now they're setting themselves up for something else. What I do know, though, is that our intention really is to connect to the divine. Our intention is to become divine. Our intention is to open our hearts and trust again, to love again. Our intention is to teach our bodies emotionally what our future could feel like, to trade guilt and shame and resentment and jealousy and envy and competition for love. And we practice that in our week-long events. And once this center begins to open up, we're after coherence. So if you have a coherent heart and you're able to manage that and sustain the heart coherence, the field around your body begins to expand up to 3 meters wide. And that frequency, that coherent frequency, is like a Wi-Fi signal. You got a signal now. And at the same time, once energy makes it to the heart and it goes to the brain, and you teach a person how to create a coherent brain and be able to suppress the mechanism of the thinking neocortex, the memory bank of the known self, teach a person how to operate from their limbic brain and tune that pineal gland into frequency and allow that pineal gland to lock into a frequency. Now you have a Wi-Fi signal as well, and it can read information. And these beings, I was doing this event in Florida, in Amelia Island. It was an advanced event, advanced follow-up. And this is people that have done advanced workshops. And the event was called Dream Time, that we're up from 11 at night till 8 in the morning for the mystical. And if you don't want to do the mystical, don't come. But I'm going to be messing with your sleep. And I stay up the entire night. I'm watching the entire audience. And we're keeping them between worlds, between wakefulness and sleep in that theta realm. And many people have very profound transcendental experiences while we're doing it. And I was trying to think of a way to explain this to the audience. And I had just finished the morning. I hadn't done my meditation. So I went into my room, I sat up, I did my meditation, and then I laid down. And when I laid down, all of a sudden, I see this beautiful fractal pattern with my eyes closed in the room. And the moment I see that fractal pattern, I know that that's order. That's information, a packet, a standing wave of information, and I sense it. I see it with my eyes closed, and then it unfolds like it rolls out on this beautiful being standing right next to me, and I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, and I say, oh shit, like holy, like whoa, and I hear it laugh. And it sounds like a symphony, like a harmony. In fifth dimensional creation, you are not going anywhere to get anything. Fifth dimensional creation has nothing to do with going anywhere to get anything. Because if you combine a clear intention, a coherent thought, coherent brainwave pattern with a coherent heart, moving into that elevated emotion, thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. The magnetism of this center becomes the energy. The intention is carried on that energy. And now you are broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field. Now, if it's done properly and you understand the mechanics in fifth dimensional creation, you are not going anywhere to get anything. You are actually collapsing space and time. And you are drawing the experience to you. You are the vortex, because when there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field by tuning a radio dial, when you lock into that frequency, if you keep revisiting that energetic signature over again every single day, then you don't have to go anywhere and get it. The new job finds you. The new house actually finds you. The new relationship finds you because you are the vortex that's drawing the experience to you. My definition of creation is when I forget about me. I become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. I become pure consciousness. And the moment I reach that elegant moment of the generous present moment, all possibilities in the quantum field exist truly when our brain and body are in the present moment. Getting there is the work. So then, most people then create reality from what we call three-dimensional creation. Now, when you teach people how to take their attention off of matter, off of objects, off of a particle, and sense energy and sense space, and pay attention to nothing, the moment they begin to open their focus, all of a sudden their brain waves begin to change from beta to alpha. But not only just alpha, where the imaginary inner world starts to become more real, but very coherent brainwave patterns in alpha. So when you're under stress, you're trying to control that person, that thing that you're experiencing, your attention is shifting from one thing to the next. Turns out that each one of those things has a neurological network in the brain assigned to it because we've experienced it. So as you try to control all these things and your attention is shifting, you measure the brain, there's no coherency. The brain is very incoherent. Why is it important to have coherency? Well, because the moment you open your focus and the brain begins to acclimate, different compartments of the brain begin to unify. They begin to synchronize. And what syncs in the brain links in the brain. So when your brain is coherent, you're coherent. When your brain is incoherent, you are incoherent. The person, the maverick who's willing to step out into the unknown, that unknown is the perfect place to create from, because only in the unknown can you create something new. And if you and I can become comfortable in that unknown place, then the best way to predict the future is to create it from that unknown place. Now, when people start crossing the river of change from the old self to the new self, because they're no longer thinking, acting, and feeling in the same way, there is literally a biological, a neurological, a genetic, a chemical death of the old self. And this dark night of the soul, this unfamiliar place, is the true value, the true step towards developing a new self. So then if we're leaving the old and we are creating the new, then the next most important question is, well, if I'm going to create a new self, what thoughts do I want to think? What behaviors can I plan? And as you begin to image and rehearse a new way of being, you are changing your brain and body neurologically and biologically. That's the neuroscientific model of mental rehearsal. And as we begin to remind ourselves who we no longer want to be, and we remind ourselves every day of who we do want to be, there'll come a moment where we begin to silence the circuits in our brain that are connected to the old self and inhibit the chemicals that reaffirm the same identity, and then begin to fire and wire new circuits in our brain that begins to install the neurological hardware. The knowledge creates awareness. Awareness creates consciousness. Consciousness and energy are connected, so there's a change in energy globally going on with the world. Now that knowledge and that change of energy has effects on paradigms that are no longer a vibrational match with that new level of consciousness. This is the time we've been waiting for. This is where it's happening in the Milky Way. This is happening here because there's a true coming of a new consciousness. It's not one person that's coming. It's a collective consciousness that's emerging. If you look around the world right now, whether you're looking at the economic model or the political model, or even certain aspects of the religious model, the environment, the medical model, there's several different parts of our culture that's beginning to collapse. If you study human nature historically, we always wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis, both as an individual and as a culture, before we decide to change. If you look at this and you study it in history, it's a sign that something new has to be born. As the old model of reality begins to change, something else has to replace it. So we have two ways that we actually face crisis. We can either face crisis in a state of emergency, which in the beginning of a crisis is healthy, or we can face crisis in a state of creativity and innovation. If you're addressing a financial crisis or a crisis in a culture and everybody is selfish and everybody's living by those emotions, then they're pushing their way to get to the head of the line. They're competing. They're forcing outcomes. They're using very primitive systems to try to take care of themselves. We know from the physiology of the brain that most of the blood supply goes to the hindbrain and away from the forebrain. Those chemicals create a gap between the way things appear in our life and the way things really are. In other words, we're viewing reality in an altered state. We don't see possibility. We feel separate from each other. We are competing and striving to get to the head of the line by using our cunning, manipulative, egocentric ways to get there, and we're very controllable. Fear is very controllable. Competition is very controllable. Anger and war divides individuals. Now, that is not a way to address a crisis, because the service to self or taking care of the self is the exact thing that enhances the crisis. Because if you and I are all doing the same, if we're all doing the same thing, then a culture becomes more divided. It becomes more disintegrated. It becomes more incoherent. And possibility then is not part of the equation. So the other state of mind, if you can view crisis as a great opportunity brilliantly disguised as an impossible situation, and you have to match the conditions in your environment with a new mind, now we're talking about greatness. Because innovation and creativity and a new way of thinking and a new way of being means that we can't do the same thing from the past. And so in history, cultures that are individuals that overcame their environmental conditions were considered mystics and saints and leaders and charismatic leaders. They were individuals that saw past the illusion of the present reality. When we begin to become innovative or creative, the brain begins to switch. We begin to turn on the forebrain, the frontal lobe, which is really the crowning achievement of the human being, and we begin to ask bigger questions. How can we create a new way of being in a world that's falling apart? How can we begin to create a new system to adapt to these conditions? And I think that people, when they begin to feel empowered by possibility, when they begin to see that the death of the old paradigms means the beginning of a new paradigm, how many people actually believe in the idea that the way you think has some effect on your life? So how many people actually woke up this morning and consciously created a future? You know, the biggest reason why people don't do it is because you don't really believe it's true. You see, If you knew on a gut level that it was absolutely true, would you ever miss a day, and would you ever let any thought slip by your awareness that you didn't want to experience? So your brain, according to neuroscience, is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of your environment. It's a record, an artifact of your past. So if you believe this, then does your environment control your thinking, or does your thinking control your environment? So if you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed on the same exact side as you did the day before, you shut the alarm clock off with the same finger, you slip into your favorite slippers, you shuffle into the bathroom and you use the toilet like you always do, then you walk over to the mirror and you look at yourself to remember who you are, then you get into the shower and you wash yourself in the same routine way, then you groom yourself to look like everybody expects you to look, then you go. Changing from your old self to your new self involves a complete shift in your brain, body, and emotions. If you're feeling uncertain or stuck in the unknown, remember, the best way to predict your future is to create it yourself. Don't wait for external changes to make you feel different. You can't wait for wealth to feel abundant, success to feel empowered, or a new relationship to feel love. That's an old way of thinking where you wait for something outside of you to change your feelings inside. Instead, start from within. If you want to feel whole, empowered, or loved, start feeling that way now. When you feel grateful, your new job or success will follow. Gratitude is about feeling thankful even before you receive something. If you feel grateful in advance, your body starts to believe it's already experiencing what you desire. In the quantum model of reality, what you feel inside creates what happens outside. By feeling good now, you start to see changes in your life. For example, if you feel love and joy, you'll start attracting those feelings and experiences. You can select and embrace a new future reality emotionally before it happens. Your brain and body can start to act as if the future you want has already happened. This helps you signal new genes and change how you experience life. There's an intelligence that keeps you alive, similar to the forces that create stars and flowers. This intelligence is both personal and universal. When you focus on past pains or memories, you stay stuck in old emotions. This keeps you feeling like you're defined by those past experiences. Instead of revisiting the past, focus on overcoming the emotions tied to those experiences. When you sit quietly and notice old emotions coming up like frustration or irritation, recognize them as just bodily sensations. These feelings are energy stuck in your body. Instead of letting your body go back to the past, bring your focus back to the present moment. By doing this repeatedly, you help your body trust the present and move away from the past. Over time, this lowers the intensity of old emotions. As you break free from these old emotional patterns, you'll start to feel joy and freedom. The body will begin to let go of torment and embrace a new positive state.